They say the best love stories start with friendship, that the strongest relationships are built on a foundation of trust, laughter, and shared memories. But no one tells you what to do when you realize your best friend is the person you've been searching for all along. No one prepares you for the moment when just friends stops being enough. This is our story, the story of how we went from best friends to something more. The story of stolen glances, unspoken feelings, and the terrifying beauty of finally telling the truth. Everyone saw us as best friends, but we knew the truth. I met Daniel Chen on the first day of sophomore year at Lincoln High School. It wasn't dramatic or cinematic, no slow-motion eye contact across a crowded hallway, no instant recognition of destiny. It was mundane, practical, the kind of meeting you'd forget if it hadn't changed everything. I was lost trying to find room 214 in a building I'd somehow never navigated freshman year, when a voice behind me said, "You looking for AP World History?" I turned to find a guy about my height, 5'10" maybe, with dark hair that fell slightly over his forehead, warm brown eyes behind black-framed glasses, and a smile that seemed genuinely amused rather than mocking. "That obvious?" I asked, gesturing to the schedule in my hand. "You have the look," he said. "Sophomore first day with the new schedule system, complete geographical confusion. I'm Daniel, also lost, want to be lost together." "Liam," I said, shaking his offered hand. "And yes, solidarity in confusion sounds good." We found room 214 together. It was on the third floor, which neither of us had realized existed, and by some stroke of luck or fate or cosmic intervention ended up assigned to adjacent seats. Mr. Patterson, our teacher, had a policy about alphabetical seating arrangements. Chen and Cooper side by side for the entire year. "Looks like we're stuck together," Daniel whispered as we sat down. "Could be worse," I whispered back. I had no idea how true that would become. How Daniel Chen would go from random guy in my history class to my best friend to something I couldn't quite name but felt in every cell of my body. The thing about Daniel was that he made friendship effortless. Some people you have to work to connect with, finding common interests, navigating social dynamics, building trust over time. With Daniel, it just happened. We started sitting together at lunch after the first week of history class, started texting about homework and then about everything else. Started hanging out on weekends, at first for study sessions that devolved into video games and terrible movies. By October, we were inseparable. "Your friend is here?" My mom would call up the stairs, and she didn't need to specify which friend because Daniel was always the friend. My younger sister Emma started referring to him as Liam's Daniel as if he were a possession, an extension of me. Maybe he was. Daniel was smart, not just book smart, though he aced every test without seeming to try, but emotionally intelligent in a way most 15-year-olds weren't. He noticed things, remembered details, asked questions that suggested he actually cared about the answers. "Why do you always order the same thing?" he asked one day at the diner where we'd started having weekly Saturday breakfasts. "What?" I looked down at my pancakes and bacon, the exact meal I got every time. "You've ordered pancakes and bacon for 12 consecutive Saturdays," Daniel said. "I've been keeping track. Are they actually your favorite, or is it just easier to not make a choice?" I stared at him. "That's weirdly observant." "I notice things about you," he said, and there was something in his voice that made my stomach flip. But then he smiled and added, "So, favorite or habit?" "Habit," I admitted. "I actually prefer waffles." "Then get waffles." "But I always get pancakes." "Liam, get the waffles." So I did, and they were better, and Daniel looked unreasonably pleased with himself, like he'd solved some great mystery. That was Daniel, constantly pushing me to be more authentic, to make choices based on what I actually wanted rather than what was easiest or expected. He did it without judgment, without making it feel like criticism. He just genuinely wanted me to be happy. And I was happy, happier than I'd been in years. I had a best friend who understood me, who made me laugh, who I could talk to about anything. Well, almost anything. I realized I was in love with Daniel Chen on a Tuesday in March during AP World History, while Mr. Patterson was lecturing about the Ottoman Empire. It wasn't a gradual realization. It was sudden, violent, like being hit by a truck. One moment I was taking notes about Suleiman the Magnificent, and the next I was looking at Daniel, really looking at him, and understanding with horrifying clarity that I was completely, irrevocably in love with my best friend. Daniel was focused on the lecture, pen moving across his notebook in his distinctive cramped handwriting. He'd pushed his glasses up into his hair, something he did when he was concentrating, and there was a small ink smudge on his left thumb. He was wearing the blue hoodie I'd gotten him for his birthday, and his knee was bouncing under the desk the way it always did when he was thinking hard about something. And I loved him. Not in the abstract, you're my best friend and I care about you way. In the concrete, specific, terrifying way where I wanted to kiss him and hold his hand and know what his hair felt like and fall asleep next to him and wake up next to him and build a life with him. Oh God, I was in love with Daniel Chen. My best friend, my straight best friend. Because Daniel was straight, he'd dated Sarah Marcus for 2 months last fall. He'd mentioned thinking Emma Thompson from that movie we watched was attractive. He'd never given any indication that he was anything other than completely, unremarkably heterosexual. And well, I'd known I was gay since I was 13, had come out to my parents last year, to my sister shortly after, had been planning to come out more publicly but hadn't gotten around to it because it never seemed relevant. I wasn't dating anyone, wasn't interested in anyone. Except now I was, very, very interested in someone who could never be interested back. You okay? Daniel whispered, nudging my arm. You look weird. I'm fine, I lied, just tired. But I wasn't fine, I was the opposite of fine. I was in love with my best friend and it was going to ruin everything. The next few weeks were torture. I tried to act normal, tried to be the same Liam I'd always been, Daniel's best friend, the guy who made stupid jokes and ate too much pizza and could talk for hours about nothing. But everything felt different now, colored by this new awareness. When Daniel touched my shoulder, I felt it like electricity. When he laughed at my jokes, I wanted to make him laugh forever. When he fell asleep during movies at my house, head tilted back against the couch, I had to physically restrain myself from just looking at him, memorizing him. I was pathetic. You're being weird, Emma said one evening. She'd cornered me in the kitchen while I was supposedly getting snacks for the movie Daniel and I were watching in the living room. I'm not being weird, I said, grabbing chips with more force than necessary. You are, you've been weird for weeks. Is everything okay with you and Daniel? Everything's fine. Because you seem, I don't know, tense around him lately. I'm not tense, we're fine, everything's fine. I was saying fine too many times, which was definitely suspicious behavior. Emma studied me with the too perceptive gaze of younger siblings everywhere, then her eyes widened. Oh my God, you like him. What? No, he's my best friend. You like him like him, Liam. Emma, please. Does he know? There's nothing to know, I said desperately. I don't, it's not, he's straight. Emma's expression softened. Oh Liam, I'm sorry. It's fine, I'm handling it, just please don't say anything to him. Of course not, but are you sure he's straight? Yes, very sure, can we please drop this? Okay, but if you need to talk. I won't, but thanks. I grabbed the chips and fled back to the living room where Daniel was scrolling through his phone, completely oblivious to the crisis I was having. You took forever, he said, looking up with that easy smile. I was about to start the movie without you. Sorry, Emma ambushed me. She's protective, Daniel patted the couch cushion next to him. Come on, this movie's supposed to be terrible, I'm excited. I sat down, careful to leave space between us even though usually we'd sprawl across the couch without thinking about it. But Daniel, in typical Daniel fashion, didn't notice or didn't care. Within 10 minutes he'd shifted closer, arm pressed against mine, sharing the popcorn bowl balanced between us. And I tried not to think about how much I wanted this, how much I wanted him. By April, I'd managed to create a careful distance. Not enough that anyone would notice. We still hung out constantly, still texted all the time, still had our Saturday breakfasts. But I'd built a wall inside myself, a barrier between best friend Daniel and Daniel I'm in love with. It was exhausting, maintaining that separation, but necessary. If I couldn't have him, I at least needed to keep him as a friend, and that meant never, ever telling him the truth. Prom's coming up, Daniel said one Saturday over breakfast. I was still getting waffles, some changes stuck. Yep. Are you planning to go? Haven't thought about it? That was a lie. I'd thought about it extensively. Specifically, I'd thought about how I couldn't go with the person I wanted to go with. We should go, Daniel said. The group, make it a friend thing. The group was our expanded circle, Daniel and me, plus Casey and Morgan, who we'd befriended in junior year, and occasionally a few others. It was a good group, comfortable, but I'd been avoiding bigger social situations lately because they required more energy to maintain the facade. Maybe, I said noncommittally. Daniel frowned. You've been weird lately. I'm not weird. You are distant. Is something wrong? Did I do something? No, Daniel, you didn't do anything. I'm just stressed. Junior year, college prep stuff. Liam, Daniel set down his fork and looked at me directly. We're best friends. You can talk to me about anything, you know that, right? I know. So if something's bothering you. Nothing's bothering me, I promise I'm fine. I was getting really tired of that word. Fine, nothing was fine. Daniel didn't look convinced, but he let it drop. We finished breakfast with slightly strained conversation, and when he dropped me home, the goodbye felt awkward in a way it never had before. I was ruining everything. The very thing I'd been trying to avoid, losing Daniel, was happening anyway, just in slow motion. The breaking point came in May, at Casey's birthday party. It was supposed to be a small thing, just our group, pizza and games at Casey's house. But Casey's parents were out of town, so it turned into a bigger party, more people, music too loud, the kind of chaotic energy that made me want to hide in a corner. I was doing exactly that, hiding in the corner, when Daniel found me. There you are, he said, sitting down on the couch next to me. I've been looking for you. Just needed a break from the noise. Yeah, it got bigger than expected. Daniel studied me for a moment. You've been avoiding me all night. I haven't. Liam, come on, you have. You've been avoiding me for weeks. What's going on? Nothing, I told you. And I don't believe you. Something's wrong. Is it me? Did I do something to hurt you? No, Daniels. Because if I did, I want to fix it. You're my best friend and he ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. I miss you. Even when we're together, I miss you. You're here, but you're not really here, and I don't understand why. The vulnerability in his voice cracked something open in my chest. He looked genuinely distressed, and it was my fault. I was hurting him by trying not to hurt myself. I'm sorry, I said quietly. I didn't mean to. I'm just dealing with some stuff. What stuff? Tell me, let me help. You can't help with this. Why not? Because I stopped, trapped. I couldn't tell him the truth, but I couldn't keep lying either. The two impossibilities stared at each other across the battlefield of my heart. Liam, Daniel shifted closer, his hand finding my shoulder. Whatever it is, we can figure it out. That's what best friends do. Best friends, the words were a knife, gentle but precise. I need some air, I said, standing abruptly. I'll be outside. I fled before Daniel could respond, pushing through the crowd to the backyard. It was quieter here, cooler, the spring night air a relief after the stuffy house. I sat on the back steps and put my head in my hands. This couldn't continue. I needed to either tell Daniel the truth or find a way to actually get over him. This middle ground was destroying us both. The door opened behind me. I'm fine, I said automatically. No, you're not. Daniel sat down next to me, close enough that our shoulders touched. And I'm not leaving until you tell me what's wrong. I don't care if we sit here all night. Daniel. I'm serious. Something's been going on with you since March, and I've been patient, but I can't watch you suffer anymore. Whatever it is, it can't be worse than this distance between us. He had no idea how wrong he was. You'll hate me, I whispered. Impossible. There's literally nothing you could say that would make me hate you. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Liam, look at me. I did, reluctantly. Daniel's eyes were serious, intent, full of concern. Whatever you need to tell me, I can handle it, I promise. I took a shaky breath. This was it, the moment that would either change everything or destroy everything. There was no more middle ground. I'm in love with you, I said. The words hung in the air between us, impossible to take back. Daniel went very still. What? I'm in love with you, I have been since March. I tried to hide it, tried to get over it, but I can't. And I know you're straight and I know this ruins everything, but I can't keep pretending. My voice broke. I'm sorry. Silence, horrible stretching silence. Then Daniel said very quietly, you think I'm straight. I looked up confused, aren't you? No, Liam, I'm not. The world tilted sideways. What? I'm not straight, I'm bi, I thought you knew, I thought. Daniel laughed, but it sounded slightly hysterical. I've been in love with you since October and I thought you weren't interested because I thought I was being obvious. You're in love with me. Yes, God, yes, how could I not be? You're my best friend and you're funny and smart and you notice when I need coffee before I do and you. He stopped, staring at me. Wait, you're in love with me. Yes. And you thought I was straight. You dated Sarah. I date everybody, I'm bi, I thought. Daniel started laughing for real now, his eyes bright. We're idiots, we're complete idiots. You're in love with me, I repeated, because I couldn't quite process it. Since October, Daniel confirmed. You were helping me with calculus and you were explaining derivatives and you got so excited about math, which is incredibly nerdy by the way, and I just realized I've been dying for months thinking you just wanted to be friends. I've been dying thinking you were straight. I wore a bi pride pin to school in March. I thought it was an ally thing. We stared at each other, then, simultaneously, we started laughing. Real laughter, the kind that shook your shoulders and made your chest ache, all the tension of the last months releasing at once. We're so stupid, I managed between laughs. The stupidest, Daniel agreed, then his expression turned serious. So, just to be completely clear, you're in love with me. Yes. And I'm in love with you. Apparently. So what do we do now? I looked at him, my best friend, the person I'd been in love with for months, who apparently had been in love with me too, and felt something shift into place. Can I kiss you? I asked. Daniel smiled, and it was the same smile I'd seen that first day in the hallway, but softer, warmer, meant just for me. I thought you'd never ask. I'd imagined kissing Daniel roughly 1,000 times since March. In all those fantasies, I'd been confident, smooth, knowing exactly what to do. Reality was messier. I leaned in too fast and our noses bumped. Daniel laughed against my mouth, which made me laugh too, and then we were both grinning like idiots until Daniel cupped my face with both hands and kissed me properly. And then it wasn't funny anymore, it was perfect. Daniel's lips were soft and he tasted like the Coke he'd been drinking inside, and his hands were warm against my jaw, and everything else. The party, the last horrible months, the fear, disappeared. There was just us, just this, just the rightness of finally getting to do what I'd been dreaming about. When we broke apart, both slightly breathless, Daniel rested his forehead against mine. Worth the wait? He asked softly. So worth it. Good, because I plan to do that a lot more. I'm not complaining. We sat there on the back steps, wrapped around each other, and I felt like I could finally breathe properly for the first time in months. This was real. Daniel loved me, we could actually be together. We should probably talk, Daniel said after a while, about what this means about us. What do you want it to mean? He paused, choosing words carefully. I want you to be my boyfriend, not just my best friend, though you'll always be that too, but officially, actually together. I want that too. Yes. Daniel, I've wanted that since March. He smiled, that particular smile that made my heart stutter. Then it's official, Liam Cooper, will you be my boyfriend? Yes, I said, and kissed him again because I could now. Because he was mine and I was his and we didn't have to hide anymore. We decided to tell our friends first. The party was winding down, but Casey, Morgan, and a few others were still hanging around when Daniel and I came back inside, hand in hand. Casey noticed first, her eyes went wide, then a huge smile spread across her face. Finally. Finally, I repeated. Oh my God, you two have been circling each other for months. It was painful to watch. We were not circling. You absolutely were, Morgan interjected. The mutual pinning was intense. We had a betting pool about when you'd finally figure it out. You had a betting pool. Casey won, Morgan said cheerfully. She bet before summer. I thought you'd drag it out until senior year. Daniel laughed. Apparently we were obvious to everyone except each other. Very obvious, Casey confirmed. So, you're together now. Yeah, I said, squeezing Daniel's hand. We're together. About damn time, Casey said and hugged us both. I'm happy for you guys, you're cute together. The rest of our friends offered similar congratulations. No one seemed surprised, which was both embarrassing and reassuring. At least we wouldn't have to do a big coming out announcement. Everyone apparently already knew. Should we tell our parents? Daniel asked later as we sat in my driveway in his car. Neither of us wanted the night to end yet. Probably, I mean my mom already knows I'm gay, and your parents. No, I'm bi, I came out last year. Daniel played with my fingers, lacing and unlacing them with his. But this is different, this is real, this matters. Are you worried? A little, not that they'll be unsupportive, my parents are pretty cool, but it's you, my best friend, what if they think it's weird? Then they'll get over it, I said firmly, because I'm not giving you up. Daniel smiled, I like the sound of that. What, me being possessive? You being sure about us? I'm very sure about us. We told my parents the next day. My mom cried, but in a happy way. I'm so glad you found each other, she said, hugging us both. You've always been good together, this just makes sense. Emma smirked, told you, she said to me. You're the worst sister ever. You love me. Daniel's parents took it equally well. His mom had apparently been wondering when you two would figure it out, and his dad just shook Daniel's hand and said, good choice, son. By Monday, between our friends knowing and our families knowing, we were essentially out, which meant walking into school on Monday as a couple, which meant the possibility of judgment or awkwardness or any number of complications. You ready? Daniel asked as we sat in the parking lot. With you, yeah, I'm ready. We walked in holding hands, and if people stared or whispered, I barely noticed, because I had Daniel and that was all that mattered. Being boyfriends was different from being best friends. Not bad different, amazing different, but different. We'd known each other for nearly 2 years. I knew Daniel preferred his coffee with 2 sugars, that he hummed when he was concentrating, that he was afraid of spiders but wouldn't admit it. But there were new things to learn too. Like how Daniel kissed differently in the morning than at night, sleepy and sweet versus intense and focused. Like how he liked to be held, which was big spoon even though I was slightly taller. Like how he got quiet when he was upset but needed someone to push through that quietness rather than giving him space. I'm not good at asking for what I need, he admitted one afternoon. We were in his room, supposedly doing homework but actually just talking. We did a lot of that now, talking about real things, not just surface conversation. I've noticed, I said, you give a lot but you don't take. I don't want to be needy. Daniel, wanting things from your boyfriend isn't being needy, it's being human. I pulled him closer. I want you to ask for what you need, I want to give you things. That's really sappy. I'm dating you, I'm allowed to be sappy. He kissed me, which was apparently his response to sincerity. I wasn't complaining. I need you to be patient with me, he said quietly. When I'm figuring things out, I shut down sometimes, and it's not about you, it's just how I process. I can do that, but you need to tell me when you're shutting down versus when something's actually wrong. Deal. Deal. We were learning the language of each other, the grammar of how to be together. It wasn't always easy. We had our first fight 3 weeks into dating about something stupid. I'd canceled plans to study for a test and Daniel felt blown off. We'd been snippy with each other for a day before finally talking it through. I understand you need to study, Daniel said, but you canceled via text an hour before. That felt dismissive. You're right, I should have talked to you earlier, explained better, I'm sorry. And I shouldn't have given you the cold shoulder, I should have just told you I was hurt. We're learning, I said. Yeah, Daniel agreed and then smiled. But we're learning together, that's pretty cool. It was cool, it was actually amazing. Because even when we fought or struggled or had to figure things out, we were doing it as a team, as partners. Summer arrived in a blur of finals and end-of-year chaos, and suddenly we had 3 months of freedom stretching ahead. We should do something memorable, Daniel said. We were at our usual Saturday breakfast spot, though now these meals had a different quality, less about friendship, more about being a couple, though the distinction was subtle. Like what? I don't know, road trip, adventure, something we'll remember when we're old. We're 16. Exactly peak road trip age. We didn't end up doing a road trip, neither of us had a license yet, but we made the summer memorable in other ways. We spent hours at the public pool learning that Daniel was hilariously bad at swimming. We had movie marathons in my basement when it got too hot. We took our bikes to the state park and got lost for 3 hours, which should have been scary but was actually kind of perfect. I like this, Daniel said one evening. We were lying in his backyard watching stars appear as the sky darkened. This summer, this us. Me too. Do you think about the future, like long-term future? Sometimes do you? Yeah, and you're always in it. Is that weird? We've only been dating for 2 months. It's not weird, I said. You've been in my future since the day I met you. Dating just made it more specific. Daniel turned his head to look at me. More specific how? Like, I think about college and I think about where you'll be, I think about next year and I think about prom with you, I think about being 30 and wonder if you'll still drink your coffee with 2 sugars. That's really sweet. Also possibly obsessive. No, Daniel said, lacing his fingers with mine. It's love, that's what love is, seeing someone in your future and wanting them there. Is that what this is, love? I think so. I mean, I've never been in love before, but if it's not this, I don't know what would be. We hadn't said I love you yet, we'd said I'm in love with you that night at the party, but that was different from the simple, present tense declaration. Those 3 words felt huge, weighted with meaning. But lying there under the stars, Daniel's hand in mine, it felt like the right time. I love you, I said. Daniel's breath caught, then, I love you too, so much it's kind of ridiculous. Ridiculously in love, I agreed. That should be our couple name. That's terrible. You love it. I love you, I corrected and kissed him as the first stars came out above us. Senior year brought complications. Not with Daniel, we were solid, stronger than ever. But the external world started pressing in. College applications, family expectations, the general stress of knowing this was our last year before everything changed. Where are you applying? Daniel asked one September evening. We were in my room, supposedly working on college essays but mostly procrastinating. State school, definitely. Maybe some private schools if I can get good financial aid. You? Similar, though my parents want me to apply to their alma mater. Do you want to? I don't know, it's across the country and he stopped. You what? I don't want to be far from you, Daniel admitted. Is that stupid, planning my future around my high school boyfriend? We're not just high school boyfriends, I said firmly, and it's not stupid, I've been thinking the same thing. Really? Yeah, every school I'm considering, I check if it's near schools you might go to. I don't want to do long distance if we don't have to. But we can't plan our entire futures around each other, Daniel said. That's not healthy. I'm not saying we only apply to the same schools, but considering proximity isn't the same as being codependent. We can make choices that honor both our relationship and our individual goals. Daniel was quiet for a moment. That's very mature of you. I have my moments. Liam, what if we don't get into schools near each other? What if we end up on opposite coasts? Then we figure it out, long distance visits, whatever it takes. I'm not giving up on us because of geography. Promise. Promise, Daniel, I love you. That doesn't have an expiration date just because we graduate. He kissed me, soft and grateful. I love you too, I get scared sometimes that this is too good to last. It'll last as long as we fight for it, and I'm willing to fight. Me too, Daniel said, and we went back to our essays with a renewed sense of purpose. Despite being out to our friends and family, Daniel and I hadn't really made a public statement about our relationship. At school, we held hands in the halls, ate lunch together, were clearly a couple. But we'd never officially announced anything on social media or dealt with the extended family network. That changed at Thanksgiving. Daniel's family had a huge extended family gathering, and he asked if I wanted to come. As your boyfriend, he clarified, not just as your friend, which means meeting my grandmother and cousins and the whole extended Chen clan. That sounds terrifying. It kind of is. My grandmother is traditional. She might not be thrilled about the whole gay thing, but I want you there if you're comfortable. I'm comfortable, I said. I want to meet your family, all of them. The dinner was indeed overwhelming. Daniel had not exaggerated about the size of his extended family. There must have been 30 people crammed into his parents' house, multiple generations all talking at once. Daniel's grandmother, a small woman with sharp eyes and impeccable posture, cornered us almost immediately. "So you are the boyfriend," she said to me. It wasn't a question. "Yes, ma'am, I'm Liam." She studied me for a long moment, then she turned to Daniel. "You are happy?" "Yes, Grandma. He treats you well." "The best." She nodded once, then "That is what matters, love is love," and she walked away, conversation apparently concluded. Daniel let out a breath. "Well, that went better than expected." "Your grandmother is terrifying." "Yeah, but she likes you, trust me, you'd know if she didn't." The rest of the evening went smoothly. Daniel's relatives asked polite questions, and if some seemed uncomfortable with our relationship, they at least kept it to themselves. By the end of the night, I felt like I'd been accepted into the Chen family fold. "Thank you for coming," Daniel said later as we sat in his car in my driveway. "I know that was a lot." "I'm glad I came, your family is great. Even the overwhelming parts. Especially those, it's nice having that many people who care about you. My family's so small in comparison." "Well, you're part of my family now, so you get them too." "I like the sound of that." After Thanksgiving, we decided to make it Facebook official, a silly milestone but one that felt significant. We changed our relationship statuses, posted a picture of us at homecoming, made it clear to the world that we were together. The response was overwhelmingly positive. Likes and comments from friends, former classmates, extended family. A few negative reactions, but fewer than I'd feared. Most people just seemed happy for us. "The world didn't end," Daniel said, scrolling through comments. "Told you. You're very wise. I know, it's why you love me." "One of many reasons," he agreed and kissed me.